Welcome once again to Sports Zone Special. One of the favourite chants of Tottenham Hotspur fans is, there is only one Gareth Bale. That might just about change now because the Welsh winger, of course, has been in good form for Andre Villas-Boas's team in recent time, and it seems that the North London side has literally cloned him. Tottenham's youth team player, Kenny McAvoy, seems to have a striking resemblance with the senior team mainstay. Not only does he look like a Gareth Bale, but he even plays in the same left side position and wears the same boots. The 19-year-old Republic of Ireland winger is touted to be one of the most exciting talents in Tottenham's youth team setup, and considering the speculations of a Gareth Bale's future at the White Hart Lane recently, Andre Villas-Boas does seem to have a bit of a backup as well. Right, we often hear football fans saying that the game is a religion for them. Diego Maradona once said that football isn't a game or a sport. It's more like a religion. In our next story, these expressions get a little bit too close to their literal meaning.
There's an often repeated adage which equates football with religion, but what if it gets close to its literal meaning? Something similar is on view as seminarians and priests studying in the Vatican compete each year in the Clericus Cup. It's the Catholic Church's equivalent of the Champions League.
The Clericus Cup is as big as it gets in the Catholic realm. It literally is like the World Cup to us. It's made up of 16 teams and over 70 countries are represented. It is, when spring comes around, every single seminary in Rome gets together and their fans are passionate and they come out singing their chants and their songs and they come out dressed in costumes, and it's bigger than I ever thought it could be. When I got here, I had no idea it was this important to people.
The world of these men is as far apart as can be imagined from that of the likes of the Messis and the Ronaldos. Their goal, figuratively speaking, is quite different, but still, the love of the game is something which brings them together.
I think it's refreshing for people to see young men who are studying to be priests, who can still play soccer and they love the sport, because it's really what unites us, and it's where our passion lies too. As much as we're passionate, I mean, you will see we're in the chapel much longer than we are on the soccer field, but the passion's there and it's in your heart, and if you love it growing up, you're going to be playing it when you're a priest as well. I mean, I plan on having, at my parish, playing with the kids out in the field as well, so it's no different, I don't think.
The line between religion and sport is quite blurred in this case. In fact, one discipline helps them to do well in the other one. You won't get to hear talks like these even at the Old Traffords and the Bernabéus of the world.
You can learn everything between faith and football. I think we all take, especially on this team and this tournament, we take our faith into our football. And if you read any of the letters of St. Paul too, he talks about running the race and finishing it. He's very manly and passionate letters about just rising above the challenges and stepping up. And so, I mean, I always read those verses and put them into my shin pads before I go out there, and it just pumps me up. It reminds me to be courageous out there. And as much as it is a fraternal support, it's also, I want to win this game. We're going to beat this team right now.
The truly global game of football is all-encompassing and takes all sorts to add colour to this beautiful game.
Just asking, do they need a referee at all? They should be honest guys, isn't it? Anyway, let's move on. How's this for a surprising game of football? A team of amputee soccer players playing against their prosthetists who built their limbs. It happened recently in central London.
At times, the game of football is marred by such unfortunate things like racism and fan behavior. To counter these issues, both FIFA as well as UEFA have come up with various measures to encourage respect. But when a game features amputees on one side and the men who make the replacement limbs, the respect is palpable. This is evident between Dean Heffer, who is a sports officer for the Limbless Association in London, and Andrew Rees, who is a prosthetist. But make no mistake, the competitive edge is still there.
Obviously, we are slightly restricted with movement sometimes, and that is where today the other team, obviously they're fully able-bodied, so they have got the edge there, but I'm sure we're going to give them a great game, and hopefully we'll beat them.
The game of football has missed out on quite a few enthusiastic, if not gifted players, as due to various unfortunate incidents, quite a few dreams died.
I used to be a professional footballer back in Nigeria. I lost my leg playing football. I had a fracture in the match and I broke my chin like into two. I was taken to the hospital, but it was not properly treated. So I caught gas gangrene. It was infected with gas gangrene. So there was nothing the doctors could do but to amputate the part that was infected.
Their physical movements might be limited and restricted, but their able-bodied counterparts would do well to imbibe some of their enthusiasm and spirit. The passion has to be seen to be believed.
When I first lost my leg when I was 8, you know, when something like that happens to you, you think you're going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of your life. And playing football is my life, and I just want others to get and do what I've done.
We are familiar with the Respect campaign of FIFA, and if someone deserves respect and admiration, it's these men.
Some inspiration that. Last season, when Manchester United scored 8 against a hapless Arsenal side, it led to quite a few buffet table jokes. And when United conceded 6 against City in the Manchester derby, people wondered whether it was a game of tennis. But when Australia took on the American Samoa side in the 2002 World Cup qualifier, the scoreline was more like a game of cricket.
Starts off okay, the keeper saves and the underdogs are still in it for the first 7 minutes. 8 minutes gone, 1-0. Then came the 10th minute and the 11th. By the 21st minute, it was 7-0. Soon after, Archie Thompson grabs his 3rd and Australia's 10th. Where was the keeper? Sadly for the poor guy, he was still on the pitch. Now here's a lucky fellow, stretched off for a really bad injury. No boss, I'm fine. Put me back on. We can turn this round. Shortly before halftime.
Through on the sub, that's right, the guy not good enough to get in the American Samoan first 11.
Despite some valiant Samoan defending, the Aussie scored again. For the 16th time. 16. Second half, it's 16-0 up. Now watch this for the sheer cheekiness from the kickoff. That is really rubbing it in. 18. And here is number 20 with number 20. Not every day you can say that, but now American Samoa must have realized that Australia's 22-0 win over Tonga 2 days earlier was no fluke. 25. Here's Archie Thompson again, scoring the goal number 30 and his 13th. Not every day you can say that either. And if that wasn't enough, though it was, in the last minute, Australia scored their 31st and final goal. 31-0, even the scorer lost count. And you have to say that with no away goal, American Samoa were going to find the second leg very difficult. It's a cruel game. 13-goal Archie Thompson was dropped for Australia's next match.
I'm amazed that the American Samoa team hung around to shake hands with their opposition. Time now to head into a very quick break. When we come back, we'll have lots more.